Good evening. On this lovely Tuesday, I am your host, Sized. Tuesday is art stream, and I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing. Beside me, or actually on my head, sorry for the echo by the way, is my husbando Kaiju Kittens.
I'm
He's,
here.
yeah, he's
I'm
currently
here.
finishing up his
Actually,
art
wait.
stream.
And where is your PNG?
I want to start
Boudoir.
working on my spoopy stuff because I
There you
want to go
are.
into spoopy season. There are who?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just putting you on my screen. I'm
Oh,
like, oh
I'm
yeah.
on your screen. Oh, I'm so flattered. I'm so flattered. So yeah, I think like for spoopiness, I want to like decorate my screen with ghost Pokemon because I love ghost Pokemon. They're
Ratatouille.
super cuties. So I'm thinking, so when I follow, actually, Kaiju suggested Miss
Speed.
Lala. She's adorable and she's got a cute spoopy stream going. And I'm like, ooh, I want to do something like that. So I'll have like maybe Gorgeist and Pumpkaboos and maybe lit with candle. I don't know. So I'm just playing around here. Hold on, I gotta get a handy dandy pencil here. Figure out what I'm gonna do here. Tablet would work, right? And I don't know why, but my TTS isn't working, and I think it actually might be an issue with Twitch. So we'll see. Hmm.
Maybe. Uh,
I'm not sure how to do the pose, like a corner thing. But then again, where would it be on my screen? I could move those around. Yeah, I can probably move my tags to the top of the screen, and then I can move the spoopy stuff next to me on the bottom. Okay, that shouldn't be a problem. Just thinking out loud here. I did it in the wrong layer. That's okay. We just start over again. Not like I really got any far. Boop 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 bop boop ba dee ba da ba 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 boop ba da ba dee 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 da ba 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 da ba da. Boop.
I see what. Oh,
So how much do you have to finish, Kaiju?
I'm pretty much done. Uh, I could probably just finish it now and call it done.
That's on you. I'm not rushing you or
Don't
anything. I was
rush
just
me.
curious, making small talk.
So mean. No, I'm almost done. Wait.
I'm gonna make
Okay.
them. Oh no, maybe I shouldn't. I'm like, should I make them shiny? Or should I just go with the fall colors? I'll just do the fall colors, I think, maybe.
Wait. I'm dumb. I'm dumb.
What you do?
Be dumb. There we go. Yeah, I'll just do that. I'm not gonna go crazy with the talking emote. Just, just color change light to show that he's talking.
Yeah, I gotta help you with that, don't I?
No, I'm just changing like from one color to another. I'm not gonna go crazy. I really don't want to. I think he's turned out lovely as it is.
You really do have a gift, Kaiju.
Hooray. I'm special.
Special. Ah, he's so special.
da da da. Da 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 da. Little. No.
So, like, you know the Pokemon world and stuff, and they technically eat Pokemon, right?
Yeah,
So,
technically.
would you have pumpkin pie? Like,
Pumpkin
pumpkaboo?
pie?
Yeah, pumpkaboo pie?
I mean, possibly? I can't see what you call it. Because it's like, I think certain Pokemon would be off limits for eating.
It would come with a hex.
Right, because it's like, you know, those are like souls, apparently.
It's soul food.
Oh god, soul food, great.
Yay, did it. Hooray.
Okay, wait, let me make sure, turn off the paper layer. Everything looks in order. Cool. Okay, let me do a regular save. I really gotta learn to save because, like, I have not. Like, this is my first time saving it.
Oh,
So,
yeah,
like,
I know. I'm bad with it, too. That's why I have a redeem. Like,
oof.
I'm getting better, but still, you know.
G.
Hello, little hobbit.
Hey, rat. Sussy, never. Oh, and I heard the news, Rat. My condolences for you. I'm sorry about your doggo. I want to draw spoopy
Yeah, I gotta
stuff.
learn to save it.
Yeah, Kaiju's with me. He's doing a little art stream. He's almost done, though.
Yeah, I'm almost done. I will.
He's
stop.
making a big a big Sheriff Wally. It's
Yeah, this will
amazing.
be great. I'm gonna post it on his Discord.
His people will love it. Hey, mage.
Okay. Discord. Where is the sheriff? Where's his art
Where's the
sharing?
sheriff? I'm trying to make it look small, and then it gets bigger.
I will title it as I am beauty. I am grace.
You're legit gonna name it that? I am beauty, I'm grace.
The documents. Where?
Probably do it more round on the top, actually.
Where are my files? I know I just saved them.
Ah, derpy eye. Need to cover the face more.
Mo mother, why are you drawing such a thing? I
Ooh.
expect such drawings from Daddy Kaiju, not you.
Get your head out of the gutter, please. Please. It's Gorgeist.
What dirty pictures is he drawing, Fen? Oh, okay.
What?
Gorgeist.
Gorgeist. What's wrong with
Gorgeist.
Gorgeist?
That's nothing's wrong with Gorgeist. They just didn't load in all of a sudden.
I don't like it so far. Like with the hair bit. Like, hold on. I gotta cover more of the face. That's what I gotta do. But I also want it to look wispy and whimsical.
Naboo rascal. I hope he appreciates. He's gonna call me fucking bastard.
What?
I posted it on his Discord. I'm gonna post it on Fens right now. Freaking fantastic.
I'm just catching up with chat just in case. Like, what's going on? I'm making it worse. Yeah, of course I'm making it worse. There's no dirty pictures in here. What's wrong with you? That's Kaiju stream.
What am I doing?
Oh, you know what you're doing.
I'm not doing dirty. This is just the Sheriff Wally. Let me shout him out, boys. This is exactly what he looks like. Just kidding. I think he's streaming right now too.
Yeah, I think he is, babe.
Oh, I hope so. I hope so. I hope he sees it. I hope. So much.
Oh, he will eventually anyway.
Oh yeah, of course. Like I said, I just posted it.
Why?
And yes, Rat, we already know Sheep's a piss boy.
I can't get it right even though it's so easy.
Like, do not use his wool for your sweaters.
Why?
It's stinky. Stinky like pee-pees.
Because they're supposed to be like hands, but they're like hair.
Okay, okay. One more save. Studio format. Okay.
Sorry,
So-
I don't have that kind of I don't have that kind of knowledge here.
What?
Rat's like, librarian Fen, can I borrow a book about goat sacrifice? I got plenty of kids' books.
Children's book about goat sacrifices? That's an idea. Okay. My day so far, I technically finished Fat Fen.
Thanks, babe.
I made a reference sheet for myself.
You did a lot.
I just need a reference sheet, you know.
I have to make one eventually,
And
too.
I got the Fat Sheriff done.
I don't like the hair!
So I feel accomplished. I feel accomplished. I did it. I did it.
I did it, I did it, I
Yay.
did it. Yay!
You know what? I could do. That's what I forgot to do.
What?
I'm not done with the sheriff. I just remembered what I gotta do. Blah 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 blah. There we go. Blah blah. We bloop. Blah bleep.
We
bleep, bloop.
booped, we bipped, we bopped.
We bopped.
Yep.
Oh, baby. Because Rat, you have powers. You have a gift.
You have a GIF?
He's got a gift.
Oh, I said GIF. Animated GIF.
That's a GIF.
GIF.
That is called a GIF.
GIF. GIF. GIF.
Too many.
GIF. 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 It is a GIF. A GIF from a Bob.
Bob.
Like, I don't know.
I remember that Rugrats.
You did?
I do.
You know, I just had this conversation come up on another stream, and I do not want to look up what a GIF is. It's bad. I just know that it's.
Did you say a GIF?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just furry sex.
Yeah, I don't know that. I don't want to know that.
Well, now you do.
Hooray!
And knowing is half the battle.
Hooray!
G.I. Joe.
Peanuts. Which is just shocking. Okay. Really? I did not know. Okay, that looks more like a hand, I think.
Not what I want.
Nah, let me do different. Or, I know what I can do.
No. Wait.
Yes,
maybe...
that boy. Oh, I love that cutie. Sorry. Besides you, Kaiju, I like Pumpkaboo.
I'm a little jealous now.
What?
I thought you were talking about me, like, oh, there's my fat boy. I'm like, oh. And then you're like, oh, you fat ass, Pumpkaboo.
Well, I
Like,
would have
oh.
had you on stream, but you didn't set it up.
I'm sorry? I
You
forgot.
better be sorry.
Don't mean to me.
Why are you mean to me?
I'm not mean to you.
Nah. Then go to sleep, Demon. It's late. You had to, like, sit and babysit your laptop all day. I imagine that wasn't anything fun.
A rappy top. Okay. Now.
Oh my gosh, what did you want to get for a haircut, Rat?
A rat tail?
Oh yeah, I didn't even notice. Kaiju, you cursed on my stream.
Fuck.
Hey. Be nice. I don't know what I want to do with the stripies. I'll figure it out.
Okay.
Put rat tails on your head.
Tails.
Woo! Woo woo.
I love seeing this on the sheriff's art thing.
Oh, someone,
Oh no, no one commented yet. I just like seeing it. Like I put in for the second picture. I've come to collect my bounty. Load 'em on my Naboo rascal.
That's amazing.
Fortunately, I need to update. Talk.
Maybe I'll fix that, I don't know. You're waiting for the chaos to unravel, or what?
Yeah. Let me tell people to wake your ass up.
Oh.
Thank you. Sunset.
Was she sleeping?
She probably fell asleep again.
You okay?
This is usually when she naps.
I
You know
can't
they
nap. I can't. I get so sick if I take a nap during the day. Hold on. Let's see. I feel like it needs to rest lower, but it's not. I don't know. I probably should fix that. I think it looks like it should be resting lower. Aww.
Okay.
You're wearing floofy.
Huh?
They're like, where are you gonna require the rat tails? Don't worry about it. Floofy's getting more, like, worried. Now feels threatened, 70%. You should stop. I'm jealous, though. Well, do you feel refreshed when you wake up, Rat?
The best part of waking up.
Like, I can't fall asleep on demand. For one.
Wish we could. Good night. Yeah. I did it. I feel proud. No, I don't wanna. Don't wanna.
Maybe I should wait in it? I don't know. Hold on, let me see the eye placement. Maybe like that, yeah.
Oi!
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 So it goes like a
Mashugana.
curl? You're Mashugana.
Thank you. Now what do I do?
What did you do?
Then now what do I do?
Why, you want to keep drawing? You want to do your Garfield self?
Yeah, not at this moment.
You don't feel like doing any arts?
I don't know. I don't know what I feel like doing.
You can draw Pokemon, you can draw spoopy stuff.
I'll just do whatever. I'll figure something out.
I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I'm not happy with it. It always looks rough, though, so maybe the line art will make it look better.
That's usually how it goes. Do, 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 do.
I feel like I can have better expressions or something. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how I want this to look. Like, I don't know if they want to be flustered or shy or... Okay, why would you need my fur for stew? Maybe my meat or flesh or whatever, but fur?
I don't think you really make a
Mommy,
stew out
help,
of
a big
fur.
scary
Maybe a
rat corpse
stew.
is trying to take me away and put me in a boiling pot.
Why would you try to eat my Hedgie? There's barely any meat on him anyway. Why? My baby. I don't know what I want to do. What other Pokemon? I could have a Litwick or...
For Halloween?
For Halloween, yeah. Let me see. There's Miss Magius. I'm just trying to see if I want to add anything else to this little thing here, or if I just want to add these two, and then do another little one or something. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe I'll do thick lines. I don't know. It's been a while since I've done thick lines. Like thick boy lines. Hair for flavor? Ew. Possible. I don't know. Because I was thinking of adding them to the bottom of my stream screen. Or better yet, if I wanted to do an animation, I could do a levitating Ghastly and have him fade in and out somewhere.
Very cute.
Yeah, maybe.
A shy Boo would always be cute too.
Oh yes, ghost type. I want to decorate my stream with ghost types. I love ghost type Pokemon, they're adorable. Better curve than that. You could draw a better curve. Nope. Sussy. Probably gonna delete the thing. Hold on, vector. That's the whole
No!
thing, 'cause it's not connected. Then what was the point of connecting it there? I'd say you'd be the Alolan Raticate. Just Pokemon. Because I want to change my PNG tuber as well, and I'm gonna dress myself up as Braxian. Maybe in like a Miss Magius themed outfit. And I'm thinking I'll do Hedgie maybe as Shaman or something. Oh, Digimon? It's been forever since I've watched Digimon, so I don't know what they look like.
They look like digital monsters.
Oh yeah, smart answer, Kaiju. Got a silicone rat mask for Halloween. Oh, I've turned out vectors, no wonder why. Like, why isn't it working? I feel like I could do creepier. Makes me wish I had those gloves. Fudge. No, it won't connect. Did you decide what you wanted to do, Kaiju?
Nope. I have no idea what I'm doing.
Well, speaking of Digimon, you can always draw your favorite Digimon, Kaiju. It's been a long time since you've drawn through them. Alright, I'll look at the Discord. Hold on. Oh gosh, Kaiju. Oh gosh, Kaiju. You have it lit up from the bottom.
What? Oh, yeah.
Oh no.
His Naboo Rascal Scooter. Naboo Rascal.
Oh, it's glorious. Oh gosh. I don't know if I remember seeing them or not.
I don't know what I'm doing, Floofy. I am literally just doing.
It looks cute though. Sorry, I'm looking at the Digimon Werewolf was talking about. I don't remember if I've seen him or not.
Which one is it?
This one.
Oh, I forget his name, but I remember from
posted in
first
the
season.
chat. I just remember the one that, well, pretty much it's the lesser form of the one that you like. I think it is, right?
Oh, Impmon?
Yeah, right?
Yeah, Impmon. Basically, Impmon's whole line is I like.
Eh. I want it to be smoother, but it keeps getting, like, boxy. Why have a connect vector line tool if it doesn't want to work half the time? Curse you. Curse button, I keep
Ah.
bumping into you. Sounds like you're doing something, Kaiju. You're pretty sussy.
What?
What are you doing? What you doing, Kaiju?
I don't have drawing.
Yeah, what are you drawing? I can just get up and look.
I mean, if you want to, it's up to you.
I don't know why. I wanted to have thick lines. It's been a while. I have fun. I don't know. It makes it look more cartoony to me. Alright, Rat. See you in a bit.
He'll be back in like 5 minutes.
You'll grab a frozen waffle.
Yeah.
His favorite.
Disgusting.
Loosmon. I don't... Ah. The only one I know of is the, whatchamacallit, the angel... Whatever, I don't know. I'm gonna slaughter them all because it's been so long. But pretty much...
Woman.
Little... Yeah, something like that. The little chick's cat one that turned into, like... You know, it's like, who would have...
And then Patamon evolves into Angemon.
Oh. Ah, Vector. Looks more but whatever, mine's more rounded. Not all pumpkins are the same shape anyway. Like, I don't know if that looks... Doesn't. I'll wait on that. Who cares? This Pumpkaboo's like, I'm heckin' confused. Like, why you grabbing me, lady? I want more of a curl, though. Maybe? No, we want it fat. Ah, push. Give me what I want, curse you. No. A bit more curly, it's a problem. I can do this!
You can do it.
I can't do it.
Sure you can. You gotta believe.
Believe it! Ah, fudge, that was a new racing tool. Curse you, racing tool. I thought you were my friend.
Lied.
Always lies. Sit on a throne of lies. Like, I'm not getting the little squiggly on its head the way I want it. Like, I want it extra curly. I want it to be like a curly fry. Ah, pish posh applesauce. What do I want? When do I want it? I have no idea. Okay, so I've seen the pumpkin in the rock before, but I've never seen him before.
Which one?
The loose moon.
Oh,
He's a rookie. Huh.
you're a rookie. Snap.
Legit, is he like forming freaking solar system and he's a rookie? Jeez. How about it? I mean, what is it? What is it? Make me happy.
No.
It's not making me happy. Vector, you're useless sometimes. Sometimes Vector is like such a blessing, and then other times it's just working against you. It is! Possible. Like, I'm gonna do it in segments. Like, I can do this as a small little group together, and a few other together. Like, maybe I'll add Litwick to this one. I don't know. Because it's small enough. Ah. Maybe no tooth. What do you think of it so far, Kaiju?
Un momento, por favor.
I gotta do the lines in this part anyway. Oh, you could have looked on stream. You could have just looked on stream.
I'm still streaming too. That's cute. Nice.
Yeah. I gotta do the lines here, but yeah. Other than that, like, it's hugging. Huggies. Oh yeah, Drifloon too, right? Forgot about him. Drifloon's adorable, trying to, like, literally steal kids away, but they can't.
I know. Cutie. Biscuits.
That's insane.
Biscuits.
What does he change into?
A Digimon. Biscuits.
Well, with Ghastly, I was mentioning I could probably make that into like an animated GIF and have him levitate and fade in and out and like stick him somewhere on the screen, maybe. Yeah, I'm asking about Lucimon or Lucimon or what do they change into?
Child. No.
A child. Really? Already looking like a child. What?
Biscuits. Come on.
I wonder if they're actually gonna use it on their stream, Kaiju, the sheriff. Like, I would make that a redeem. Like,
Well,
for
told
sure.
Sunset to make hit, or just have Sunset do it. Force it.
Definitely. Make it happen. You had raw meat? I thought you'd have frozen waffles. I don't know if I like those lines on the pumpkin. I feel like it takes away from it. I'm gonna try it like this instead. Yeah. Maybe they're too heavy, but I have the right idea. Yeah. I think I'm gonna do a lighter stroke. Yeah, something like that maybe. Hmm. It's spilled onto pumpkin. No. Where is it not closed? Oh, not the eye. looks all closed to me. I don't understand. Eh, whatever. Whatever. Oh, wrong layer. Always the problem, isn't it? Saucy. You call me Saucy? They skip champ? Oh, look at that. That's crazy. It's like 10 wings? The hey? That's crazy. You would have to pry it off my dead, cold hands. Ah, what'd I do? Reference. How did it get out of it? Ah, clearly. Let's be sorry. Oh, thank you, demon. You are not. You are not. Leave them alone. Oh, that looks kind of cute. It's probably because of the actual, like, pumpkin, but I think of, like, Mickey Mouse and stuff. It gives me that vibe. What if you made it a crossover? Like, you made it look like Mickey, but it was a pumpkaboo? That wouldn't be hard. Yeah, why does it do that? Why? What is open? Drive me bananas. Oh, hold on, let me just take it from here. Seriously though, what's open? Let's review. Oh, hold on. Vector. No, not all of it. You. Blah, 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 blah. Oh. Probably because it's not closed technically there, even though it clearly looks closed. I'm just gonna have to do it manually because it's stupido. Do I know who Billy the Bat is? Kaiju, do you know? Because I don't.
I don't know, no Billy
No,
Bat.
I'm lost. Let's see, and I'm gonna stop after I sent you the basic Mega. As many other forms of Mega, technically what I showed you is seen as shell, not the real the Aqua. Well, thank you for the save. Yeah. Your chat's glitched? No. I love the colors. I already feel all cozy and fall and stuff, you know? Oh, so cute. I want pumpkin spice. Apple Kaiju was nice and got me like Dunkin' pumpkin spice like what, a week or two ago? Feels like it was longer
A
than
week
that,
ago, I
but
think, actually.
yeah. He got me a pumpkin spice
No!
iced coffee and a donut from Dunkin'. And it's like, okay, the coffee was fine, but the donut, it's like, nah, I could have skipped on the donut. It wasn't spicy enough. I love apple cinnamon too. In fact, someone else's stream, Big Nose Bug, she bakes sometimes, and I'd never heard of this before, and it's brilliant, and I want to try it so bad. So, you know, you've heard of pineapple upside down cake. She did like an apple spice upside down cake, and it looked so good. What was that?
That was like a hiccup burp. Okay.
Oh, okay, Rat.
Alrighty, I'm gonna end my stream.
You know, I
Link's
forgot that you
pointing a
were.
gun at me. Thing end now. Everybody have yourselves a great night, a great day, whatever great time zone.
Oh,
Good night.
Lopier was with you? From, Sheep's Community?
Oh, was he? It's probably just
Oh, sorry. I thought you were talking about Lopier Link.
no, like in my thing, I'm listening to Nintendo music, and since I have the little thing, the little window open that shows what YouTube video I'm looking at,
Yeah,
there's an image of Link with a gun pointed at me.
that's hilarious.
Just pointing at the screen.
How is
Like,
any of us supposed to get the context behind that?
I mean, if you look at my screen, you could see it. So.
Well, I'm streaming.
I'm streaming.
Why are you so mean?
I don't know. 'Cause I'm a joik.
You could be sometimes.
Yeah.
That's not
I
something
did
to
it.
write home about, but okay.
I'm writing everyone at home right now. Dear
Hey, I forgot
everyone,
online.
I'm a jerk. The end.
I already forgot to do the line. I'm like, whoa, that didn't look right. Easy. Let me guess, you're gonna spill to the rest of the thing? No, good. Stay in your place. See? These are brighter than that. I want to make it the same. I'm gonna do that, and then I think I want to make them glow a little.
No!
Ah.
Okay.
Oh no, it's like that. It's supposed to be a little brown up top. See the reference? It's supposed to have that brown curl up top.
Yeah. Don't you know your Pokemon?
Oh, gosh.
God, what a Digimon. Love. Ew.
Really, Kaiju? Really?
I don't know. Help me.
Ruffles have riches.
hate that commercial. No. I mean, I do, but
Ah! Let me see if I can make these babies glow. No. Magic wand, lo and behold.
was 1, 2, 3, 4 big guys.
Really?
Oh, I'm just looking.
You're looking at 4 big guys?
Oh, actually, you're not a guy, so it doesn't count.
Gee,
Although I did
thanks.
post Sheriff Wally 4 times technically, so just 4 big Sheriff Wallies. Like, ugh.
Maybe I'll do that when the eyes this color. Yeah, I think I'll do that.
So I need one more homie. One more homie.
Really?
Hello, little hobbits.
Hello. I heard the words 4 big guys. See, you brought Rat back.
Oh no, I summoned Rat. Do the dance,
Oh,
Rat.
right here.
Do the dance.
Thank you. Let me see. Thank you. Yeah, I just touched up with this then. Oh, color. Hooray!
Aw, see, Rat's got song request.
A song request?
Yeah. Rat wants you to play some music.
Let me guess. 4 big guys.
4 big men.
4 big men. Like, you can see a little bit of the glow, but not a lot of it. And then if I make it too big, it, like, kind of
Let her rip.
dissipates.
Beyblade, Digimon, you plebeian. Only true gamers play Dungeon Dice Monsters.
Like, you can notice it, but I don't know. I'll keep it.
Oh, Rat. Ben's going to kill me
Why?
if I were to play 4 big guys.
Well, I wouldn't hear it on my stream.
Oh, I know.
So, if you want to listen to that on your free time, because you're so gay, go for it.
4 big guys it is.
Uh-oh, I'm afraid of what Rat is drawing stuff.
Part of that game. GBA port. Dungeon Dice Monsters. Someone, oh god, from my high school actually tried to go all in on it when it came out. He actually had a few monsters, and I forget how it was. It was like little figures you buy, and then like nothing ever happened with it. Like that was it. But yeah.
Should I add Litwick in this, like, in the middle and between them on the bottom, or should I just leave it with these 2 and
Leave
add
it with
Litwick
those
somewhere?
2. They're cute the way they are. Okay, leave those 2 as is. If you want to add someone else, just like in a separate like picture.
No, yeah, I'm gonna do another one.
Yeah.
Now, what group should I do next? Because, you know, I did those guys. Hold on, let me see here.
Demon werewolves looking for your confirm as far as looking up the mega super hyper warp mega evolution digivolution of fusion
I already
armor
know it. This doesn't seem like it's
digivolution
all of them though.
/ hybrid / DNA
there was
digivolution
more.
Little
of
hobbits.
the Digimon he's talking
Minty!
about.
Oh, Minty, did you see the art that Kaiju made for me?
What was it? Okay, so there was
Look.
DNA Digivolve, Armor Digivolve, Digivolve,
This is
Warp
what
Digivolve.
this is what Kaiju made for me. Yeah, it's in the Discord too. Yes! Mint ice cream.
No, I'm not even mad that Digimon's getting games or anything. I'm just like so many
So there's an open and a
different
closed mouth.
evolution forms. Like, okay, Warp Digivolve, I get it. You go from Rookie
Oh,
to
that's
Mega, got it. You know, something you use in a pinch. Then you go like, oh, okay, now we can't Digivolve at all. Oh, no, we got Armor Digivolve.
I haven't set it up yet, Sunset.
Then you go from Armor Digivolve to
I
just
haven't
like,
set it
what
up.
was it, regular Digivolve?
Hold on,
then
hold
there was
on.
DNA Digivolve. Then there was a Fusion Digivolve. Then there was...
Let me say something
was the
real
other
quick.
one? There's like 3 more. It's like with the whole Yu-Gi-Oh summoning system. There's at least like 50 new ways to summon. It's like ABC summon. Like what the hell's ABC summon? Synchro summon. What? Freaking ritual summon. Polymerization summon. You know, if you set it up, you could just put it on that your little button. There. Oh, we're gonna get a new type of audience now, Finn.
Gosh.
Yeah. Art stream, baby.
Hold on. Gosh. Wait a second. Oh gosh, why? Okay, where's my tuber?
Sunset, make sure you put that in Wally's, like make him make it a redeem, Sunset.
You have
Make it a
to
redeem.
Sunset.
It is a PNG tuber, just set up a new one. Put it on the little what's it called? What's the dumb thing
The
called? The
Vito
but
YouTuber thing?
No,
The
no, no.
hotkeys?
the hotkey thing I bought
The
you.
Siege Stream Deck?
Yeah, put it on the stream deck. And we need a redeem for Fat Sheriff so that it's always there. And it's something with a very low cooldown.
I just make it
No!
hectic.
No! No!
There you go. My ice cream.
I'm just scooting in my chair.
Give me that ice cream.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Here's the ice cream.
Yes. It's glorious. Let's see. I guess, let's see. Bounce when I talk or no? Should I bounce it when I talk or no?
I don't know.
Talking? Or no? You like the bounce?
I like a little bit of bounce.
Oh, well, with all that fat, a lot of stuff bouncing. Oh no. It's great, Kaiji. Thanks.
You're welcome. I thought you'd love it.
Oh gosh. Demons drinking bleach.
And unsee
You'll be
it.
fine.
Even if you drink the bleach, you gotta put the bleach in your eyes.
I'm in ice cream, yummy. Let's see. What set should I do next? Should I do Frostlass holding a Drifloon? You know how, like, you go to those festivals? She's wearing a
Yeah,
kimono.
that'd be cute. Yeah,
Yeah,
that'd be cute.
I could do that. I thought it was just gonna be a Lilo and Stitch bit. Well, that's what I was going for. I'm like, I want to eat ice cream just like that guy, that pose. Do it. Oh, that's fine. That's fine, right? You'll be alright. But yeah, definitely I gotta set it up and I can make my models redeems. Okay, let's... Nice because they're like
Let's
right
see.
next to
Will
each
this
other.
work if I do this? I changed it.
You changed your... Oh,
Yeah,
oh gosh. Oh gosh,
put
hold
me
on.
down there next to you, baby.
I will, hold on.
Put me down there next to you, baby. Oh.
Oh my gosh!
Yes. We're just relaxing at the beach, guys. Now we just need sheep.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
Maybe the sheriff can join in too.
What kind of stream is this?
Oh, yes.
I'm gonna need the mind forgetting powers.
No.
I thought the
You'll
bleach would
never
help with
forget.
that. Well, you never commissioned it. Why
Yeah,
would
just commission it. I'll get on it right away.
In fact, she's starting right now.
I'll do this pro bono.
The first one is free.
You'll get hooked after that.
Don't worry, it won't happen. You're good. Oh, that's pretty funny
Oh,
though.
this is great. This is great. I'll be right back.
You gonna piss yourself?
No, I'm gonna do it. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Ouch.
Poor sheep. Gotta figure out how big I'm gonna make this. Maybe. Maybe.
No!
He's not gonna do it. You're fine. But it is pretty funny.
I don't know, man. Hold it to me.
What, Kaiji?
That's pretty hold it to me.
Goodbye. I'm gonna need to have a break after this. So that's all we gotta do. It's like, Rat, you gotta go sleep. And he's like, no, I'm not gonna. And it's like, sheep, pull out the big boys. Oh, you guys. Yeah, it's more of like a downward slope. Bing bong, bing bong. Ah, I accidentally made you smaller. There you go. Because every time I switch windows, it goes to the last thing. I think the fat thing's funny. I don't take it to the next level where the whole inflation art thing. Though if someone from the outside looking in would see it and be like, oh, inflation art, here's my money. But no, yeah, I just find the fatness funny. Yeah, I thought it was funny too. But they're like super opposed to it. Ooh. Easy. Come on, Pen. Rats like they ruin sheep as well. It's like, dude, you guys can't take a joke. We improved him, Kaiju says. You probably didn't catch the T because I turned my head talking to Kaiju. If I did, then I did, as I make mistakes sometimes. Hmm. I need more room with this one. Probably do. Look right to me.
Eh,
What you do now?
I forgot my mochi. That's what I did. Fuck.
You milky? Mochi. I'm like, wait, what?
Milk.
Pretty much I'm gonna do it like almost in the same pose as just holding Drifloon. Almost looks like a uwu face. Maybe I'll make it blushing thing. Have a good night, Rat.
Night rat.
Well, Demon's gotta go to bed soon.
They all have to go to bed.
It's later
now.
for Demon.
You.
What?
It being later, I just don't want it to be late.
No, I know. It's like, yay, a breather from the children. It's like, oh, look, it's already super late. Like last night, we didn't mean to. We ended up staying up until like 3 or 4 in the morning. It was
Yeah.
terrible.
We were both just sort of in the zone.
Yeah, getting a lot of stuff done. What? You're setting an alarm and waking up in an hour or so?
What? You're going to bed in an hour? You're waking up in an hour.
That's what it made it sound like. It's like, wait, what? Oh, Demon. We were literally,
Deuce.
it was you streaming, right? And I was just keeping you company, yeah.
Yeah.
So I was working on the arts, and Kaiju was doing an art stream last night. So I kept him company.
Yeah.
60-minute nap. Dude, I can't do naps like y'all can. You guys are just built different. I think it looks cute so far. Maybe I should do it like a more of a grippy pose instead of like the fingers, though. Hold on. Yeah, little grippies. And that she's holding the balloon. Griffy. Ah. Go back. Undo yourself. How big do you think Driffy would be? About... I think about that.
Yeah, I feel like. Yeah, I feel like that's about right. What a cute little Drifloon.
It's like he's got duct tape on his mouth to keep his mouth shut as she's
I think
stealing
that's
him
that's
away.
kind of the joke. It's like because
Yeah.
you know, those Japanese band-aids like in anime are always like those X's. So it's like maybe a popped balloon, but you know, lightly fixed with a little bandage.
Doing a heckin' of a concern.
Cloudy on his head. It's a cute little ghost Pokemon, honestly.
It is. Oh my gosh, I had it on my laptop years ago, and I forget what it was exactly, but it was like this software you can have the companion on your screen, and it was Drifloon, and you can make it so it multiplies, and I had so many Drifloon all over my screen. Sorry, it was like memory unlocked. It was cute. It was fun. I forget what it was though. It only came on like what, Fridays or something? Like
For what?
in the game to catch Drifloon. when it
Yeah,
first-
only on Fridays down
in
that
that
one
weather
route.
place. But do you think I should make it look worried and have like a little sweat drop or something? Or nah?
Just keep it like open-eyed, regular.
Regular?
Yeah.
How about that, Kaiju?
Yeah.
Yeah. That looks kind of cute. Keep trying, you'll get better. Try, try, try. Going back to a nappies. Enjoy the naps and hello, floofs. Yeah. What are your favorite Pokemon, Kaiju? Or anybody in chat if they play Pokemans?
So let's see. Favorite to you? Like, okay, I love Tyranitar's design, obviously.
Yeah, let's do
So
it by
let's-
design first then. Do it by design. So like
design
aesthetic.
first, aesthetic-wise.
Drifloon is adorable. The fact that he's still
Drifloon, yeah,
the
Drifloon's
stories
really
behind
cute.
some of the ghost type Pokemon are like
when I get
so
the shinies, are always great. Like it's like
It's pee-pee
like a
colored.
shiny- It's
He-
pee colored.
He's got a pee Drifloon, or he did.
I had.
Yeah, I know.
I miss my peep.
And wasn't oh my gosh, what's the stump one, babe?
Phantom?
Yeah, Phantom, thank you. That one pretty much is like a kid got lost in the woods and that's their soul. Like it attached to a stump
Yay.
or something in the woods.
Hooray.
Aw, Rat. I didn't see that. He's like, I woke up from my slumber to say I realized how is Fen such a small streamer. They're like my comfort streamer. They're funny, chaotic, etc.
Aw.
That's a nice compliment.
That
Thank
is
you,
nice.
Rat. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know why I'm not bigger, but I know there's a lot of things I have to improve on. I have to make it so chat can engage more with stream. So everything's a work in progress. Eventually, I'm gonna make it there. I want to do a lot for the stream. That way you guys can have more fun, not just, this. I like to have stuff that's more engaging and more chaotic than this.
It'll be worked on. I mean,
Yeah.
definitely whenever you get your new, when you work or when you are able to work on your new animation for whatever emote, even though I feel
Oh,
like they
yeah.
robbed you
They did.
for the Anka one.
It was clean.
ran
It was
the hell out of
nothing
it.
wrong with it either. I was so proud of myself. Like, I love this. And it's like, nope, we're not gonna let you have it. Yet, again, so much more worse things off on this site. Like, more lewd, more... I don't know. That was a close one. Oh, I know what to do. Maybe... Maybe? Hold on. That's close enough. Sweet. I really appreciate any of you guys watching, coming back. I really do. I feel like we've made our own little community, and I have a lot of fun. I really do. And I also enjoy going on Sheep stream a lot, too. The only downside is that I lose more sleep. It's like so fun and entertaining, and then before you know it, it's super late, and I'm just like, kill me now.
Oh, Mint barely noticed us, or he barely came back and he noticed us. Sorry, I'm playing some Dead by Daylight at the moment.
You're playing DBD?
Yeah.
That's what you gotta do. You gotta play DBD with Sheep, and then have it...
Fat stream?
Yes, fat stream.
Fat stream.
Fat stream. You're playing with the big boys now. Remember from the Prince of Egypt? You're playing with the big boys now. Yeah.
It's been a long time.
I've been listening to like the metal cover to one of the
Everything.
pretty much to everything. Yeah, I've been having a metal fever. Hey, you're at.
Rhett's back.
But muted?
Mint's
What's Mint's
back.
talking about?
I don't know. Are we
Rude
muted?
or- I don't know.
I don't know.
This is delicious. Yeah, that's Kaiju for you. Kaiju made them. It's his lovely art. He made them practically like
This
all
is no
last
dream
night.
unless your dream came true, Mint.
For me to
Mint's
have ice
wildest-
cream?
Mint's wildest fantasy.
You're making it
they're
sound
fat.
bad. Cheese. Cheese Louise. Oh, hold on. Ah. It's pumpkin.
You could be sussy if you wants to.
You could be sussy all the
Oh,
time.
she's saying you can't even fit in the vent now and be sussy.
I was gonna like replace words in the you can dance if you want to instead of being fat, and if you're not fat you can't be a friend of mine or something stupid like that.
I mean, you could just go with the whole I'm Fat song from Weird Al.
So what you drawing? Oh, what did I take personally? But I'm drawing Pokénans because I want to make a spooky stream layout, and I want it to be with ghost Pokemon, and I want to dress up Fen in like a little Miss Magius witch outfit, but also making her look like Braxian. But in the meantime, I'll have little ghost Pokemons around the screen for Halloween, like October or whatever. Here's the first one. I got Pumpkaboo and Gorgeist. So they'll be on there too. What about Kaiju? Like, what do you mean? Like, is he doing anything? Or am I gonna make anything of Kaiju? Like, you want like a PNG tuber or something of like ghost Pokemon Kaiju or something? Like, what Pokemon would you be? Like, even if it's not just ghost, can you see anything for Kaiju?
Sprigatito. Fat Sprigatito.
Wait, what?
The new one, the Weed Cat.
I keep forgetting about the new ones. I'm talking about the old ones. Kaiju would be Doug Trio, but it has to be the Doug Trio where they're super muscular. Yes, they're super muscular Doug Trio. Like, it's disturbing. We're all into the cursed art here, aren't we? Hooray! They haven't seen the big kaiju and yet.
No, this is brand new. Like, I finished these like the past 2 days.
They were wondering what the kids would think if they saw them.
The kids, I think they saw it already.
You think so?
I'm pretty sure.
They didn't say anything then.
They didn't care.
Like, if I went out and asked, like, Jenna or something, like, hey, what do you think of this? I feel like she'd be like, I don't know what to think of this, mother. Like, what, Mom? What am I looking at? Huh. Yeah, Mimikyu and Duskull are cute too.
Like them cute.
What would you be though? Imagine,
Go
imagine
lurk.
you want Golurk.
Probably go lurk. I like go lurk.
You know what? Yeah, I think you did say something about like, you know, the plus he's huge. So if you made like a kaiju looking Golurk, that would be interesting. Or Lopunny. That's that gross, but okay. It is certain. See, Kaiju, now you have to make yourself into a Lopunny. Oh no. Oh
That
no.
Lopunny?
Oh gosh. See, you're digging your own grave.
I know.
I know I am. It's fun.
Ah, cute. Boop bop, beep da bop. But yeah, I have like a rough sketch, and I think I was starting the line art for the Fen PNG tuber, but
Mimikyu
now
is a
I'm wondering
ghost,
if I should do
yeah.
it over again or not. Yeah, apparently if you look at them, that you'll die. Or something like that. But no one really knows what it looks like. I think Meowth caught a glimpse of it in the show. And
Yeah, and
lived.
it almost died.
Jeez.
Very, yeah.
I think I got all the lines. Into color. Oh my. Let's see. You're not connected at all. Let's see. Let's see. Connect for me? Makes it look better too. Boop.
Hee
Oh, whoopsie. He's easy. And he's adorable.
Apex? No.
Hmm,
I mean,
wonder why
yes,
that didn't
no.
work.
I haven't played in so long. I played a little bit. I'm still mad about it being in the same universe as Titanfall, and that I cannot play as the pilot,
Oh,
and that's all I care about.
who's asking, Floof?
Mint.
Oh, Min? Okay, because I
Yeah.
thought Floofy played Apex.
I am just mad about that because I love Titanfall. I played that so much. And it's like, oh, we're the same universe. Okay. Hey, look, all these maps are all
piss.
Titanfall maps. I
Piss.
know these. Fantastic.
Yes.
Oh, what I play as some freaking teleport emo girl and butchy gun people, and it's like,
My name is
"Ah,
Butch.
my name is Butch." Like, no, I want to play as a pilot.
Oh, Bud,
I
you
want
did
to
it
run on
again.
walls. I want a gun. I want to earn my Titan. And then I want to just like go on a murder spree. That's what I loved about it. and it's not there, and I don't want it.
I don't want it.
I don't want it.
It could be more white, but okay. Pink. How did you get pink from there?
Mirage and the pumpkin. No clue.
Mirage and pumpkin? I'm good. My butt hurts, and I have a seat cushion. Like,
I stole my seat cushion,
I
and my butt
know.
hurts even more.
you want to trade?
No. I don't want your booty to hurt.
We need to get like real computer chairs one day.
Real
One
computer
day.
chairs.
Computer chair. Let me change the background. Ah, Kershey reference. Whatever. I just need to see it, like to make sure I'm coloring it appropriately. I think. Hold on. Get rid of the reference. Try it again. Get rid of the reference. Sit down.
Simp, 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 simp. Simp, simp, simp.
Simp, how you doing? How you doing?
Mint, simp, and floofy, and a rat asleep, right?
Yeah, I think they went for it now. Curses.
Sleep, you rats.
What
probably
line
got
is
school.
open? Sorry, I think it's the reference. That's probably why. Okay, okay, now we're fine. Gonna say.
Ben's just drawing some sexy Pokemon.
Yeah, I want to have spoopy Pokemon because I want to dress up my stream all nice for Halloweenies.
Halloweener.
Halloweeners? No.
Mm,
Trying to figure out what color blue out of this. I'm then getting like weird shades. That one's not a bad one. Looks green though. I'll pick one myself. Maybe this. Of course, the background don't help. Maybe? Looks too minty. It has to be more like a faded blue. Hold on.
looks too minty.
These are the front slash. Has to look like ice. What's that flavor of a pop they have in Japan? And you see the Kingdom Hearts kids.
Sea salt.
Yeah, the sea salt. That's like what the color reminded me of those like pops that they have.
Sea salt ice cream. Or popsicles. I don't freaking know, man.
Scritch, scritch, scritch.
Stretch, stretch, stretch.
Make the pupil a little bigger. Then I think we'll be good. What do you think, Kaiju? Are we good?
I think so. I think it looks good.
Cool. So what group should we do next? What do you think?
Do you want the Hunter Gengar Ghastly?
I kind of mixing different ones together.
Oh man. My bad, I wasn't paying attention. How about... I don't know. I'm trying to think like what would go together.
They look so sad.
Spiritomb.
Oh, pun. It's because they were ghosted. Aw. Poor ghosties. Always getting ghosted.
b- 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 What? Oh, how about Golurk and what's that sword? Those sword Pokemon, Doublade or the Sword and Shield one?
Huh, that's not a terrible idea.
So it's like a suit of armor
Aw.
and the blades.
Golurk is the second big guy, right? Or is that the first one? Forget. The Pokemon when Ash died that made the feather turn black.
Oh,
Out of the
what's his
movie,
face?
or
Yeah, it's one of the movies.
that Shadow one? Or was that a ghost?
Yeah, it's Marsh something. Yeah, Marsh
Me.
Tomp, I don't know.
Marsh Stomp. Let me look. Ghost Pokemon, Pokemon, Pokemon. We have Misdreavus. We have the Galarian Corsala. Or Corsala.
Corsala.
Wow.
Corsala.
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 It sounds like an Italian salad. Shuppet, Bannet, Duskull, Dusclops, Miss Magius, Dusknoir, Yamask, Kofagragus. Oh, yeah! Sinistea!
A tea set?
Sinistea and Poltergeist and Ursola and Spectra, or that weird pony thing. I don't count it. Like those Pokemon that were in the Sword and Shields, but they were the DLC. I don't count those as Pokemon. Like, they look weird. Nah. Never existed. Look, the Gigantamax Gengar. It's like the Cave of Wonders. Remember?
Oh yeah. The Cave of Wonders.
Like, I'm literally on Bulbapedia right now. There's Spiritomb, Garantina, Litwick, Lampent, Chandelure, Fantup, Trevenant.
Oh, okay, yeah, Chandelure with the Sinistea, like you set up a tea party with the Chandelure acting as a chandelier above like a table with the Sinistea on the table as a little tea set. No? I think it's cute.
Well, who's having tea?
Me. I'm having tea. Sinistea.
Sinistea. Oh! And still...
It could be the Jellicents having tea because they look like regal and they have little crowns, right? The jellyfish ones, the blue and the pink one, the giant ones.
That's true.
They're like king and queen.
So what you're saying is Chandelure would be up top.
Right.
This is gonna be a big scene if that's the case. Okay, so Chandelure at the top, and then you have the Sinistea with the Poltergeist, and they're doing tea, and then the guests will be the Jellicent whatever things. Why aren't they on this ghost list though? Should be on here, but they're not on the Bulbapedia. But they're water ghost, I'm sure. Oh, good night, Minty.
Good night, man.
No, don't worry. It's okay. No worries. Thanks for stopping by and have a good night.
Good night.
In fact, I don't know. Should I try one more piece and that's it? Or should I call it? Because we're at the 2-hour mark. It's 1 hour and 57 minutes.
I'd say you should call it.
You think I should call it?
Yeah.
I at least did 2 pieces. That's not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, like, as much as I want to do one more, we're gonna end up staying like 3-4 hours, and it's already almost midnight, and I hate to do that.
Right.
Howdy, howdy. It'd
Oh,
be
wow.
the sunset.
The sunset.
Have a good night, Rat. So let me see here. Shall we raid? Or nah?
You can raid. Go raid Sylvie or Morning Gate is playing a game, but Sylvie's on.
Hold on.
Sylvie's always fun.
Let me open it up here.
Lurky, lurky sunset.
Lurky, lurky.
She's a lurky turkey.
Alright, let's see. Yeah, she's a bigger streamer, but yeah, I like Sylvie, and if you don't know her, she's awesome. It's real fun. Have a good night, everybody. I'm gonna start the raid
night,
soon. There's no real
everybody.
message. I have no idea what to
Just-
say anyway. Just
just
go have
hop in.
fun if you
Yeah.
are. And...
Have fun.
Alright. Here we go. Good night. Goodbye.
Hmm. Uh-oh, someone's mad.
Stream.
Ben!